Hello everyone, I'm Eugene. Thank you for joining this event. In this video, I'm so happy to share with you my tips and tricks in optimizing projects in Lens Studio. And I want to start with the fact that project optimization is quite an important stage when working on lenses, not only when we need to fit into the required size, but even when the weight of the lens fits into the weight budget. Plus, fast loading of the lens is a very good step towards the user, because the sooner they load your lens, the faster they can enjoy it. And let's be honest, we don't like to wait for loading. So without further ado, let's get started. And let's start with the simplest. You may have guessed, but for such an effect as vignette, you don't need a large texture at all, but only a quarter of such texture is enough, which can be then reproduced with a mirroring function. And sometimes you don't need texture at all. For instance, in this simple frame, it can be created from thin screen images. I can create screen image of whatever size I want and remove the sprite component, and the object becomes just a container for other sprites. Next, I will create the sprites inside with just basic material. Now let's talk a little about the formats, JPEG and PNG. They have their own strengths and weaknesses. Let's take this picture. In PNG, it takes like this, while if you save it in JPEG without compression, then it takes like this. So as you can see, the same picture can take several times less with practically the same result. Using the built-in compression tool in Lens Studio, you can also find that in this case, the JPEG format still takes up less. However, with this picture, where there are few color or grayscale transitions, PNG wins noticeably. The key thought in these experiments is that there is no single rule of where and when to use these formats. Try to experiment with saving in different formats, and you yourself will learn to predict in which cases which formats is better to use. And the last trick is to use the same object but with different color. For example, if we take this texture, then with help of combination of base color and recolor, we can achieve a huge variety of colors just from one texture, and this will significantly save space. Now let's move on to creating simple and optimizing effects using the node editor. With one texture like this, you can create a lot of beautiful things. Let's add some heat to this video and create fire from a static texture. So we have a texture with slightly different noise in RGB channels, which is tiled. Let's separate them by channel first, add remap, then merge them back through the blend node with screen mode. Then I'll add to each channel movement by the scroll chords and also scale chords for each channel. And I will make small changes in the parameters. Now I will make a mask. For this we will create a radial gradient subgraph and slightly correct the values. Let's apply this mask to the construct node. And fine, now let's add some randomness. There is a bit of magic going on now, so watch my moves. I will duplicate this area with the nodes and just add it as a modifier for the UV of the same first channel. I will remove the intensity a little through multiply. We can also slightly change the values for the speed and scale, though this, let us call it turbulence, doesn't coincide with the main movement. Then duplicate this turbulence for the other two noisy channels and change their values quite a bit. We can also use this technique for a mask. This time I'll do it through the mix node. So I think 2 channels will be enough. So now let's create something like a glow on top of this noise. You can easily make such a glow from the UV. We need ingredients like remap, distance and 1-. Connect it all and the glow is ready. I will combine these nodes into a subgraph for convenience and add this entire effect after the construct node. I will also use the clamp node so that the values do not exceed 0 and 1. All that remains is to paint, and in this example I will just apply the lookup texture. Also, of course, there are many ways to paint it without it. Slightly reduce the influence of this lookup through the mix node, and also slightly tint the dark areas in the front of lookup using another mix. And wow, we made an animated fire from the static texture, but I'll tell you more. We made a super constructor and the real magic is just beginning. So fasten your seatbelt. Make a copy of the fine material and apply it to another sprite. Next, let's reduce the effect of textures on UV a little. Add swirl curls to make it move a little rotated. Remove a couple of unnecessary details and tint. Put this sprite somewhere here, duplicate it, and voila, the fog is ready. Next, let's duplicate the material again, assign it to another sprite, add a 1- node to make the effect darker, change the blend mode to multiply and slightly adjust the color values. Maybe I'll add some more contrast with remap. And voila, again, the smoke is ready. Let's place it somewhere here, duplicate the sprite too and randomize it a bit. Now great. Next, caustic? No problem, still using the constructor. I'll make a copy of the fire material and leave here only one channel and turbulence for one channel. Let's change the direction for this texture movement here. Probably we will make the influence of turbulence a little less. And all this can be applied as an alpha for a color using the construct node. Let's do the placement trick again, and that's it, super easy. Let's add some cold post effect for showiness, for example frost, sounds like something cold, and probably a little less. Good, well, to make it really beautiful, I add some post distortion effect and change the texture to our noise. We're using one static texture for animation, and let's bring the face back a little so that it doesn't get very distorted. And finally, yeah, we did it! As you can see, you don't need a lot of texture and very complex shaders. Start creating lenses now, it's super easy, fun and entertaining. Thanks, see ya!
My name is Alessia and I work as an AR engineer. Favorite part of my job is getting to help our amazing lens creators, building templates and example projects for them to help bring new ideas to life. So in this demo, I like to talk about how to combine additional visual effects to achieve a more cohesive, polished look. And let's take a look at the sample lens project. As we can see, main lens parts have been already added, but I'll go through some steps that could be a final steps before publishing it. So let's take a look here. Main idea of this lens is just having cute peach stickers on the face, and let's say you already have your texture here, you already added it to face mesh, you created material, and everything is set up. And then on top of that, what my idea was to add just like bunch of makeup, like lookup and additional bloom effect on top of the stickers to make it just come together more and look more naturally and nice. So let's start with this project here that has only the speech stickers. And now let's see what we can add on top of here. I already have resources for this prepared for me in this folder. And I think I'd like to start with some eyeshadows, something to help make the speech stickers less obvious and less stand out on a face. So let's say I'll add this one here. As you can see, it's already a face mask object. So I already have texture in here. I already set up coordinates and how it aligns to the face. It's usually what I'd like to do instead of setting up textures and how it looks on a face every time from the beginning. I just do it once and then save it as an export object somewhere in my folders, ready for me to use in different lenses. So let's create scene object and call it makeup, just to like nicely organize it in here, and put eyeshadows. And then let's check that we don't have any random layers that sometimes just get like leftover layers. And let's see if it's working. if you can't tell if your effect is working, sometimes it's good just to use like a static image when model is not moving, and also it's going to be easier to see. Okay, now let's add couple more stuff. What's this one? This one adds like more definition to the outer corners of eye, and just adds some like very smooth eyeline, which is always nice to have. And then let's see, maybe I want to use some eyelashes also. This one lower only, for example, and then I want to use fuller one also. Yeah, don't forget to fix layers for all of those. Also, as you can see, there is one little nice optimization. Instead of using duplicated texture for both of eyes, we're only using half of the face, and then in material we set up in a way that it's just being mirrored to the second part of the face. So you get like 2 sizes smaller texture, which is always nice. As you can see already, when you have more makeup on eyes, stickers already doesn't look so foreign on a face, if that makes sense. But let's say now I want to add maybe like a cute blush to go underneath the stickers to blend it even more. And I have one pretty cool one, because as you can see, it kind of goes like over nose, and just adds like additional shadow and depth underneath our stickers. Okay, now I think I'm done with the makeup for now, but now I just want to add something on top of both stickers and makeup to blend it together more. So ideally I would use some lookup, like color correction, that is like a appropriate warm tone. Let's see, let's try this one. Yeah, as you can see, it adds more saturation, adds more like warm colors. If I had stickers that would be like cool toned, like some pink, bluish or purple, I would probably use like a cooler tone lookup for this. And if I think it's too intense, I can just like tone it down a little bit. Yeah. And also one material I really like to use is this bloom one. It just adds like a nice soft glow to the whole picture. Yeah, and as you can see, adding all of this helps still preserve your idea of like having these cute stickers, but just adds more to the overall picture and how it looks together nicely. Yeah, I think that's it. Thank you so much for watching. Yeah, I hope you enjoyed it and get inspired to create more. Yeah, thank you.